I don't even know what it costs. Yeah, I hit the ground and it go off. Yeah, hit the ground and it go off. Yeah, run it. Ooh, I really feel it's my time. Think it's my year. Yeah.
All right, good morning, everybody. Happy Friday. Welcome to the morning show here in Stock Market TV. I am Spencer Israel. I've got Steve Strazza. I've got JC Parets. I've got chart wizard Alfonso in the background making charts, whipping them up backstage. We got a lot going on this morning. What's on the docket? Let's see. It is Friday, so we have to talk about some crypto. It is Crypto Friday, so we'll have a guest on to do that in about 20 or so minutes. Louis, our resident crypto guru, will be on to talk about crypto with us. But before that, we got to talk about bonds. We got to talk about China. China is what's in the news this morning, everyone. If you own Chinese stocks, you're having a good morning. Actually, everyone's having a good morning. Everything is up this morning. So that's cool, I guess. All right. That's the plan for the day. Smash the like if you'd be so kind. Let's roll. Where's my intro? Come on now.
Good morning, Vietnam. I'm in a good mood this morning. How about you guys?
Why?
Well, I have really good meetings today. Sometimes I have shitty meetings. Today's the day that I have meetings that I'm looking forward to. Some of them even Strazza is allowed to be there, so that'll be cool.
Yeah, what's with these 2:30 Friday meetings? What are you doing?
Why, does that not fit your schedule? Is that interrupting your lifestyle? Excuse me.
Yeah.
I didn't know it was like that. All right, Mr. Big Time. All right. It's not summer anymore, right? People work now. It's a thing. All right, so I don't own many orange shirts for Crypto Fridays. So Dolphin, I got plenty of those. I just don't have just regular green, regular orange shirts. You own a lot of orange shirts?
I don't even want to go to the game anymore.
What game? Oh, did the Giants lose last night?
Yeah.
Oh. I go to bed early these days.
Yeah.
I'm on some health kick lately, man. Since I got back from California, I get like a gold star from the Perlman program.
Have you told him? I don't even think he knows.
I don't do it for Perlman. I do it for me. I'm just saying, I've been so good. Been going to bed early, man. Except when the Dolphins played on Sunday night, I went to bed late as hell. But I've been good, man. I've been good, feeling good. I'm putting up 225, dude. 225. Are you kidding me? Come on, that's pretty good. No, I'm just saying, putting up 225, feeling good. Listen, lifting weights helps the confidence. Is what they say.
How often are you pushing weights around down there in your basement?
2-3 times a week, probably. But I have like an actual bench. Like I didn't have that for a long time when I lived in a New York City apartment.
Yeah.
I wasn't that good of a gym goer. I was more of like a happy hour attender, I mean, listen, there's a reason I have so many friends on Wall Street and right. I was around a lot, right? Yeah. It's just what it is. But what do you think, Spencer? Big news yesterday. Strazza got the big event he's been waiting for his whole life with the Federal Reserve. Markets reacted accordingly.
That was Wednesday.
Well, yeah, yesterday.
Yeah, but you don't get the real move until the next day. You know that.
You didn't this time around, that's for sure.
You usually don't. Like, there's usually like a bigger move the second day. When these guys have like all day to digest sort of what happened, right?
Well, isn't that what happened yesterday?
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, all the notes came out yesterday morning, and then all of a sudden things started moving.
Also in the news, because we listen to your feedback, folks. We listen. Spencer might not listen, or Strazza might not listen, but I listen. And people want to know what's going on in the market. I got something for you. German DAX, big gap down last night following the U.S. market action, filled its entire gap on the DAX, now actually positive on the day. Any quick thoughts before we hit the state of the markets?
From me?
So the DAX is the index in Germany. For those just, following along at home. So
Mm.
think of the German DAX as the Dow Jones Industrial Average of Germany, not of Spain or Portugal or Italy or Greece, but the important one over there, Germany. It's kind of a big deal. Saying.
I don't know.
Yeah, I have no thoughts on that. But as far as
nobody cares.
as far as actual news is concerned,
How is that not actual news? That's big news. Am I wrong?
I'm more interested in the German 10-year. This thing's about to go and look like the U.S. 10-year.
Strazza, the bond trader over here.
Getting confirmation from developed Europe for this move in rates yesterday.
What were you going to say, Spencer? And then we'll get into it.
Yeah, as far as actual news, or I should say maybe more U.S. focused headlines. The big story of the morning is that the U.S. and China are going to be working together, I guess, to talk about financial policy things, economic policy things. That's according to the U.S. Treasury Department as of like a half hour ago. So if you're wondering why all the Chinese stocks are up this morning, there's your reason. I guess we're getting to be buddies with China now, or we're getting closer to that. So
you're not suggesting that that's why like futures are up in the United States, are you?
Dude, K-Web's up 4.5%, FXI's up 4%. These are big moves.
I wouldn't go as far to presume that's why the whole market is up, but it's definitely why every Chinese stock is up. That's for sure.
It's a big move, Strazza.
So there's that, and then
4.5%. I mean, maybe for China, it's not like that crazy, but it is. It's a big move. No?
Yeah, it is. And if you are one of these people that has been waiting for 2 years for, let's say you own Activision shares. I don't know if anyone still does, but if you do, and you've been waiting for 2 years for this Activision Microsoft merger to close, well, it's actually going to close now. They cleared a hurdle in the
Wow.
the UK. So there's a reason ATVI is up to $94 this morning. Takeover price is $95. Market says it's happening. All right, ATVI. It was nice knowing you. Anyway, state of the markets. Let's see what charts we got here.
All right, so here we're talking about the state of the markets, and let's kind of put things in perspective. You know, we've gotten a lot of things over the last, few days. There's, a lot of pessimism on the old Twitter. I not only is there pessimism on Twitter, a lot of people are tweeting about just how pessimistic Twitter is. I mean, it's just kind of like really, really interesting. And, I think a lot of people, I guess they don't study history, and I guess they don't understand the way the market works, but if the market was not behaving this way, if the market wasn't doing what it's been doing over the last couple of months, that would actually be really weird. So the fact that the market's been choppy, the fact that the market's had some selling pressure couldn't be more normal, right? Like more normal. I don't really understand what people are sort of surprised or angry about. I'm really not sure. But anyway, this is perfectly normal market behavior. The mess is likely to continue, right? I'm not going to bet otherwise. A lot of crash calls. Yusul agreed 100%. You're seeing a ton of it. And we're really in this range down near those August highs. Remember those August highs last summer, Strazza?
I think yes, I remember the August highs. They're huge. We're back there. And I agree with you that it's normal, but the nature of the sell-off is picking up steam a little bit. I mean, this was the biggest down day since March.
Wow, all the way since March, huh?
Not by much, but it stands out a little bit.
All right. Well, still within this range. Do you think this range breaks to the downside or what?
Not here today, right? Futures are indicating we're at least going to dig in here this morning. We'll see. We'll see what next week brings. This is now the third time we're on there, right?
Are we gonna get a lot of information next week?
I think that every week.
Listen, if you are a trader and have been for a long time, how many times have you said, next week's going to be a big week? A lot of new information next week.
We're guilty of it.
Yeah.
But we get excited. We get excited.
Of course.
There's always something developing, and you're just dying for that new information. So we're not wrong to say that.
Yeah. A gap in the index, Jerry Carey, is not unusual at all. You see gaps in the index.
And if you don't like them,
unusual.
Just look at the futures. Look at the E-minis.
Yeah, exactly. If you don't like gaps in the index, look at the futures. Good call. All right, and then here's the next one. Let's go to the next chart. I think this tells a really interesting story. So here we're looking at the Russell 2000. We're looking at financials. So Russell 2000 small caps, to be more specifically, large cap financials, and then large cap industrials, right? And these things have really looked very similar for half a decade. And those former highs from early 2018 and 2020 pre-COVID, that was resistance. We broke out above that in 2021, then came down last summer and retested those former resistance levels successfully, I might add. We tested a couple of times, and industrials have really held up the best out of these three, which is interesting. We've noted it here quite a bit. And financials and small caps have kind of had a weaker bounce off those lows, much weaker bounce off those lows. The question is, do they break down there? If they break down and we lose last summer's lows, which are those 2018 highs in small caps and financials, that's, in my opinion, would be very detrimental to the overall health of this market.
Totally agree. We were marking up a chart of the Russell 2000 IWM yesterday on a more tactical basis and asking the question, we're going to revisit the lows, right? If the weakest indexes are revisiting the lows, what are the strongest ones doing? If you zoom in on the Russell 2000, you got that little short-term top. People have been talking about that head and shoulders, and it is indicating that we do retest either the year-to-date lows or the lows from last year. So do financials do the same? I think industrials are a bit of a different story.
Why don't you go to the next chart so you could really see the combination of the Russell 2000 and financials? I mean, this is just the correlations through the roof in these.
You know what I think about? If this is a breakout in interest rates, who's it worse for? Financials or technology? You saw financials moving yesterday. They've been moving as rates are going. I think you want to stay away from the banks right now if these new highs in interest rates are here to stay. You're going to run from the banks.
Yeah. All right. Maybe. I don't necessarily disagree or agree. A lot of these things are in messy ranges, which I suppose is perfectly normal for this time of year, is it not? Like, they're just messy.
And
listen, it's Crypto Friday, so we're not going to mention any cryptos during the state of the markets. We're going to wait for Louis to come on board. But can we talk about the semis and the homies, or are we saving that for the
also,
Strazza
you talk
spotlight?
about how they're messy, right? Financials and Russell 2000. Well, of course they're messy. They never transitioned into a new uptrend like some of the stronger indexes did, right? Those are two indexes that have remained in this, basing process or sideways pattern since early 2022 now. So more the same.
Go to the homies and semis chart.
I don't know if it's worse for tech, Joe. Tech stocks have been working all year with rates moving higher.
Take a look at this one.
Not good.
How do we feel about
so
this?
This was all the talk on Twitter yesterday. Can you explain to everyone why these are not double tops?
Well, you don't know whether they're double tops or not until they take out the 2020 lows, which were nowhere near that, right? So that would confirm a quote unquote double
2022
top.
lows. 2020.
Yeah, what did I say? Oh, sorry. Yeah, 2022 lows. Without that, then you can't say it's a double top. So to talk about a double top right now is not really relevant, right? That's like making like playoff predictions, and seeding predictions based on the Giants' loss yesterday. Like, one has nothing to do with the other. It's early in the season. We'll worry about that when the time comes. Not that the Giants are going to make the playoffs or anything, but that's another story. We're stuck below overhead supply here, as you can see, and it's going to be Spencer. You got to add the www. Just the chartsummit.com is just not taking us.
JC, how important is it that these two particular indexes do
incorrect
resolve higher and break out from these patterns? How important is that to a bull market or a sustained bull market thesis? You can't have one.
Semis and homies. This S&P is not going anywhere
These
without
charts
semis and homies.
Have to go. If you're bullish and you expect this bull market is only halfway through or something, right? These charts got to go, and that'll be your signal when it's ready for a new leg up.
I mean, listen, we said it 2 months ago when these things first got up here. Be like, listen, I think ultimately they break out. How long does it take? Probably a lot longer than people expect. Probably a lot longer than people want. So patience is necessary. And guess what? Has patience paid off? Absolutely. Spencer Israel, why don't you tell me why I'm incorrect?
Chartsummit.com. Just straight up chartsummit.com will get you to our page. Okay.
You're absolutely right. For some reason, the chartsummit.com sign up doesn't work.
All right.
I don't know. It
Straight
wasn't
up,
working for me. And then I put
chartsummit.com.
www
No
anyway.
HTTPS, no fancy, none of that. Just start chartsummit.com.
Are you guys excited? What's your presentation going to be about, JC? Charts?
Probably
Yeah,
the stock
can you talk about
market.
charts?
Yeah, I'll probably include a chart or two. I mean, it
Oh,
is the
wow.
chart summit. So if I didn't bring any charts, that would be, unacceptable, right? That would be false advertising. Spencer, what do you think we do a little rundown, a little futures rundown? What do you say?
Yeah, we can do that.
All right, so little futures rundown. We got the Dow Jones Industrial Average futures up 40 points, S&P futures up 30 basis points, NASDAQ futures up twice as much, 60 basis points. Treasury bond futures flat. How about that on the 30-year? Gold up 30 basis points, silver up 1%, copper up 60 bips, oil up 1%, holding in there pretty well, all things considering. Natural gas up 2%. The dollar mixed with the euro flat, yen down, and volatility index down a bit with interest rates down as well. And that, my friends, is the rundown of market futures. Just a little heads up as to what's happening in the market, right? No big deal.
No big deal. All right, we're gonna have Louis Sykes join us in like a minute or two, but then we had a lot more charts to go over. I don't know if you want to keep doing that.
Is Louis in? Is he ready?
Louis is in. Louis, are you ready? I don't know. Louis, are you ready?
Yeah, get him in. Let's talk crypto. And by the way, should we start including Bitcoin prices in the futures rundown?
Yeah, we should always include something from crypto land.
In every morning futures rundown. Okay.
When you do your initial review, when you get to your computer in the morning, are you not pulling up Bitcoin with crude oil and rates and futures?
First of all, I'm doing my review before I get to the computer in the morning, my friend. I have a bottle in one hand, an infant in the other, and I'm checking futures, baby.
So you didn't answer my question.
The twins are always asking me, they're like, Daddy, how's the market looking this morning?
But I'm like, when you're doing that, is Bitcoin a chart that you consider and look at?
Of course. I don't necessarily need to look at the chart itself because I know what it looks like. I just look at the price usually. And then if there's a chart that I want to look at, like like an overnight session to see what the hell happened, then I will. But generally the prices themselves, I mean, the charts are like in my head. You know what I'm saying?
I'm so frustrated looking for a chart right now. You ever just like lose a chart on Optima and you got like 100 different formats and then you can't find it and you don't know what chart book it's in, but you marked it up and it took you so long you don't want to do it again?
Maybe someone needs to organize their charts a little better.
All right, Crypto Fridays. Here's Louis.
Oh, hey, what's this?
Hey guys,
Lou Dog in the
Miami
house.
Dolphins. How's it going, boys?
Wow. Can you stand up a little so we can get a better look at that? Hold on. Get it
vintage.
Up a little bit. No, it's not vintage. That's the new logo. This is vintage.
Is that the same?
I like the blue better, to be honest. Were they orange before?
Well, it's orange and teal and white historically.
So first NFL game, so I can tick that one off the bucket list.
What you think? So let's give some people some background. So Louis, from New Zealand, has never left the country of New Zealand. Never left the North Island, is my understanding.
I've been
first
to South
day
Island
in the
before,
United States.
At least I've done that.
Oh, you have. Okay. First day in the United States of America, gets to go to an NFL game with myself, Strazza, Sean, Patrick. We order all this food. It wasn't really that much food. Louis like, you guys are gonna eat all that. I'm like, man, we're gonna order a lot more. It's just that our table's not big enough.
Well, the first day I got to the States, my first introduction to the United States was Inglewood, which coming from New Zealand was a bit of a shock. So you guys ordered all of this food, and I was just intimidated. So I didn't eat a single thing. I was so nervous going around Inglewood.
And what
He
about
didn't
me?
eat.
Did I eat
He
any?
wanted a hot dog in the stadium.
Yeah.
Don't worry, I ate enough for the both
You
of
know,
us.
if there's one thing that you guys know how to do, it's put on a show. Like, never watching an NFL game to go into the new SoFi Stadium. Man, you guys know how to put on a show. It's just.
I'll tell you what, though, Louis.
It's
As
not
somebody
so.
who's been to a million games and Strazza as well, even we were impressed by SoFi. Just for the record.
Mm.
Oh, yeah, that was a beautiful stadium.
And that screen. How about that?
That was cool.
Fantastic.
That was cool.
That was cool.
Yeah. So even for us, that was cool too. So it's you know, that was dope.
Louis, what was a takeaway for you or something you know, that you thought was interesting about California and everything that you did while you were here?
You know, the big takeaway was just how great it was just to hang with you guys, meet a lot of people that I've followed and talked to on Twitter.
And you
And
did.
just to know that you guys are, you know, real people. You're not just some pixels on my monitor.
Yeah, we've been hanging out on Zoom for too long. So
Yeah. So, you know, our relationship started at the onset of the pandemic. So
Right.
that was a bit of a tough time. So it was nice to finally catch up, you know, shake your hand.
what did you think of the
Thank you.
homeless? Stock Market Mike wants to know.
We didn't see
What
that
I
many
think of the
homeless.
homeless. I mean, to be fair, I didn't actually see that much.
In San
I
Diego.
mean,
You did.
you
San
guys
Diego.
didn't really take me into LA downtown. I
Yeah,
saw a little
San
bit in
Diego,
San
you saw
Diego.
them. You saw them in San
I
Diego.
mean, not much, right?
They
But
were there. What do
I
you think
mean,
was going on? What
I
do you think was
hear
going
a
on in
lot
those
of it.
tents, Louis? In those tents, what do you think was happening in there, bro?
I don't want to know what happens. In
You think they were just there
Nothing
for
good.
decoration?
Nothing good.
Nothing good. All right, can we talk? Can we talk about cryptocurrency as well? We brought
Sure,
you know
let's go
Louis
for
in
it. So
here. We can talk about
Alfonso,
chicken wings and mini
I
burgers all day, but you know.
let's start with a question from the chat, guys. If Bitcoin is considered a commodity, then is it in commodity indexes? Who wants to take this one?
I'll take this one.
Can't be.
If Bitcoin is considered a commodity, that's the regulators' problems, not investors' problems, right? So just because regulators want to treat something in a certain way doesn't mean we're just going to change our indexes accordingly, right? I would not include Bitcoin in the CRB index because there's no evidence whatsoever that there's any correlation at all with Bitcoin and copper.
And I got news for you. Thomson Reuters and Jefferies, who provide that index, they don't want to include Bitcoin in it anytime soon either. Just read the newspaper, turn on the TV, and pay attention to how hard it's been for these fund managers and providers to create funds with Bitcoin in them. So
I would push back and say definitely don't turn the TV on or read the newspaper.
Turn on the TV.
I think that's terrible advice.
Yeah.
Are you really recommending people read the newspaper and watch?
You know,
television?
it's hilarious when we were hanging out together how much you guys disagree. You guys just almost disagree on everything. It's
Well, he says stupid shit like, "Oh, read the newspaper." What year is this?
he's confrontational. It's a deeper issue.
I'm not confrontational. He says stupid
confrontational.
shit all the time. Anyway, price wise alone, can we throw out the Bitcoin chart and look at this 25 to 30 range?
I put some charts in the presentation, some breadth charts, so we can run through
I
that.
hope you brought us some crypto charts, Louis, because I brought 0 crypto charts today, guys.
Are you kidding me?
We
Also
have
gotta be
Bonzo move to the top. First of all, let's start with the 30,000. So let's go to slide 1, right? What's the story here?
Yeah, so look, last time I came onto the show, we were saying that it's messy, there's not a whole lot to do, it was quite boring, and the fact of the matter is that it's just math. There's not a whole lot. It's we're stuck below overhead supply, and we're stuck in this range between 25,000 to 30,000. And again, as you can see below, there's also this anchored VWAP from the all-time high. So if you're below 30,000, the bias is sideways.
Louis, for a while there, you were just like accumulating Bitcoin with a long-term strategy in mind, right?
Yeah, so that was a lot of that strategy was based on a lot of the work that I was seeing on chain. We saw Bitcoin trading at historical extremes, particularly relative to investors' cost basis, which you can gauge by the realized price. And so when you had that first capitulation event back in May of last year, that's when I started to accumulate and really just put as much Bitcoin as I can into cold storage. And I stopped accumulating once we got that whipsaw after the FTX event, and I've just been holding Bitcoin in my long-term.
All right, so if people weren't able to pick the bottom like you, is 25 an okay level?
Throw the next chart up. Throw the next chart up because this is below. We're stuck below overhead supply. I think we can all see it, but at the same time, we're above support.
So that's my question, right? Is this an appropriate level to accumulate for a long-term investor at 25? Or do you have to wait for that confirmation at 30? Because we've been stuck in this range pretty much all year now with nothing to do if the answer is wait for confirmation at 30.
I mean, me personally, I mean, I haven't really been accumulating too much in this range because I've already got enough. And so I'd mainly just use these levels more as tactical trading opportunities rather than something to base a long-term dollar cost strategy off.
Let's talk about this AVWAP quick. We had some questions on Twitter a week or two ago. People wanted us to discuss the topic of using anchored VWAPs on crypto. I said the technical community is split on this, and I got some pushback. Can you help me out here?
Yeah, so you guys already know my opinion, but for the people watching, the big issue with anchored VWAPs in crypto compared to other traditional assets is that cryptocurrencies like Bitcoin, they trade on a number of exchanges. They have a number of products. So whether they're trading via perpetual swaps, spot, calendar futures, not to mention all the various exchanges that they trade on. And so all this volume is taking place on a variety of products and on a variety of exchanges. And so if you're looking at an anchored VWAP on a trading software like TradingView, that only shows the anchored VWAP for that particular product or that particular exchange. And so if you go to a different exchange, chances are the anchored VWAP is going to be materially different. And so my argument is that for a long-term anchored VWAP, the chance that that price is respecting the anchored VWAP is just happening more by coincidence rather than there actually being something there. And so what I do instead of that is I look at on-chain data, which is takes the network as a whole, as a collective, and I find that to be a lot more accurate.
Great answer. Got nothing to add to that. I'll add something. Brian Shannon, who's the VWAP man, says it's okay. It's not materially different enough, right? So that's why it's very split, because what you're saying is totally correct and true. But if it's good enough for Shannon, I think it'd be good. It could be good enough for everybody.
Yeah,
So,
I feel like he's a good referee in this case, right? Yeah. And he's going to be at Charge Summit on Tuesday night. Nice little one-on-one sesh with Shawnee baby. They're going to do a fireside chat on the evening, right on the eve of Charge Summit. Even though like that's kind of like our kickoff little party. And this is a great question to ask him. So make sure that Sean, if I forget, make sure Sean brings this up, Strazza, and Spencer for that matter.
And when are we doing this panel? The breath
This
panel.
is going to be at 6 o'clock on Tuesday night. We're going to do a market breath panel. You, me, I spoke to Thrasher yesterday. He's all stoked. We got to reach out to Hurley, see if he could join us.
Willie or no?
Ridley's going to give a presentation the next day.
Right.
Yeah, cool. Louis, why don't we talk about this this NASDAQ Bitcoin correlation that we've seen deteriorate? Probably the best way to put it, right?
Yeah, and just one last point on the anchored VWAP. I think Brian is more of a short-term trader. If I'm
fair,
he is a short-term trader, but he's using long-term AVWAPs.
Okay. Well, yeah. Again, that'll be a great question to ask on this panel. And so with the correlation here, so the correlation between Bitcoin and growth stocks has really been a long-term theme. Where I remember even you, JC, back a while ago, you just said cryptocurrencies are more software stocks. And so it's really been a bit of a surprise to see this decoupling between particularly the Nasdaq here and Bitcoin over the last few months.
Yeah, well, speaking of software stocks, if you overlaid Bitcoin with XSW, it would look a lot more like it, right? Because Bitcoin reflects the price action in the weakest technology stocks. NASDAQ 100 reflects the price action of the strongest technology stocks.
Or if you think about it in terms of the risk curve, where software is a little bit further on the risk curve than
Right.
a diversified index like the Nasdaq.
That would be a logical explanation for why they look more similar.
All right, can we get some breadth charts in here? Who's running the presentation here?
Oh,
I've got some more charts on this slide.
let's see the breadth. So let's look at the percentage of coins overbought.
Yep. So you see that ginormous momentum thrust, which is hilarious, right? FTX goes under. How many customers and clients have their money on FTX and they can't do anything? Big failed move, big whipsaw. You get that momentum thrust. And that's what you generally see at the start of new long-term trends.
Yep. That's
Can you explain to the folks who don't know what overbought means? How are you calculating this?
Yeah, and so I'm quantifying this by whether a coin has reached above 70 on the 14-day RSI. And so it's a very simple measure of that.
And then the next one?
Well, let's go, baby. We got a lot of
Short-term.
charts to go through here. And
This is
so this is
short-term.
the percentage of coins making I've got the color a bit wrong there. So we're looking at lows, not highs, even though the title says highs. So apologies for that. And so you can see with the new lows in our crypto index, which our crypto index is just the top 100 cryptocurrencies by market cap equally weighted. And so that's a pretty accurate gauge of the cryptocurrency space as a whole. And so as we got new lows in the index, you saw the percentage of coins making new 30-day lows as well as 14-day lows has diverged. And so, you know, if you want to look for a short-term signal, this could potentially be one.
That's an interesting one. That's really, really cool. What about the percentage of coins above their 50-day?
Yeah, and so this really just echoes the same sentiment where you're getting at that short-term divergence in the number of coins oversold. And you're seeing that where you saw that last year in the capitulation event in the middle of last year, which I indicated by the green arrow there, where you had a new low in most coins, but you had a RSI divergence. So as prices were making a lower low, momentum was making a higher low, and so that's a classic momentum divergence.
And where are you getting? Explain to people what universe of coins you're looking at.
Yeah, and so this is really simple. We just take the top 100 coins by market cap, and so that is, you know, a bit of a crude way of doing it because that top 100 is constantly changing, and so to account for that survivorship bias, we just keep this data short term because it's not like we're back testing this data or anything. It's more just seeing what's happening and using it as confirmation of the other technical analysis that we're doing.
And the 50-day, the next one?
Yep. So you had a extreme there. So no coins were above their 50-day. And again, this is a mean reverting indicator. And so if you know you're a mean reversion trader, again, this could be another signal for you.
Louis, this is interesting to put things in perspective and everything like that. But at this point, here we are on September the 22nd of 2023. You know, if somebody's sitting in a lot of cash and looking to start getting exposure in cryptocurrencies one way or another, is there anything you like right here, right now? Is it a wait and see? And if you do like something, what do you like? Like it could be a crypto stock. It could be like Marathon or Riot or MSTR, any of these. Could be an alt.
You know, I'm keeping it really simple at the moment. Bitcoin has really been the strongest in this entire space. And even in the run-up, right? Even at the run-up off the lows, Bitcoin was leading a great deal of that. And so a lot of people, they have this misconception that they need to be in some altcoin to get some alpha. But the reality is, Bitcoin still can outperform when things are good. And particularly for those long-term investors, dollar cost averaging into Bitcoin is significantly less risky than dollar cost averaging into some random altcoin, which there's just countless projects, countless altcoins that people
Is
have dollar cost
Ethereum
averaged into
Ethereum a
half.
random altcoin?
No, not at all. No, and so Ethereum is another good option, but again, it's been underperforming Bitcoin, right?
But when you're seeing that Bitcoin dominance increasing, that historically is not coming in a risk-on environment.
Yeah, and so towards the end of bull markets, that's where you see that massive pump in altcoins, and so Bitcoin outperforming isn't necessarily a bearish development, in my view. I look at it less as I'm simple, right? I just look at it as leadership rather than as a market indicator.
And just to be clear, Bitcoin dominance means the percentage market cap that Bitcoin represents as an overall percentage of crypto market cap. So Bitcoin right now is, let's call it, what, 400 something out of a trillion? Is that about right?
Mhm. Yeah.
Yeah. So 400 something billion in market cap for Bitcoin out of, call it, a trillion. It's not exactly like that, but it's about that. And when you're seeing that Bitcoin dominance, that percentage of overall crypto as Bitcoin, it's interesting what Louis pointing out, how early in cycles that's consistent. It's later on in cycles that you get that Bitcoin dominance retreating as some of the other altcoins start increasing market capitalization, right?
Yeah, and you saw that in the last cycle. So off the COVID lows to about September or October in 2020, when crypto was rallying, Bitcoin was leading much of that rally, and so Bitcoin leading isn't necessarily risk off.
And
Um,
I'm just
and
gonna
to turn
retract.
and to turn that question back onto you, JC, what are you seeing in the crypto space? What do you like at the moment?
Well, I'd like to just change what I just said. Bitcoin market cap is up to 520 billion. Just to be clear, so it's over half the entire crypto space. It's not 40%. It's over half. That's very significant. Something that drives Spencer Israel crazy is that Dogecoin is pushing $9 billion in market capitalization. That's $1 billion away from being, quote unquote, a large cap stock. Dogecoin. How do you feel about that?
I don't know, that 9 billion.
Yeah, what about it?
What is that? Is it just a cultural valuation? People hold it for the culture?
I don't know. I mean, it's a Bitcoin fork, right? I mean, that's really what it is.
Mm.
It's the most valuable of all the Bitcoin forks. You've got others, right? You've got a whole bunch of others, but that's the most valuable one, which is interesting. And then you got Cardano still hanging in there, just under 10 billion, right at 8.5. Solana at 8 billion. I mean, Polygon sitting at 5 billion. Polkadot sitting at 5 billion. Shiba Inu still at $4.2 billion in market capitalization. Just thought. Any thoughts on these market caps? That's what I think about. I'm like, wow, that's a lot of money.
I'm probably going to get Spencer coming in here biting my ear off, but who cares, right? If you buy Doge at 1 and you sell it at 2, do you have to give those profits back because that's a scam or
Right. See, me
it's
personally,
annoying?
I love a good scam. I love a good Ponzi scheme. I love a good bubble. If you see one of these, you go buy it as much as possible. I don't know why people get so upset about bubbles. It's a great time to make money. Scams are great. What happens after you take your profits is not your problem. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Spencer, any thoughts there, or are you still anti-Doge?
I guess if it can make you money, then great. I just don't see the point. That's the thing.
But isn't making money all that matters here, Mr. Spencer, as an investor?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, look, that sure.
Somebody in Canada or in Nebraska who's left holding the bag, is that your problem?
I mean, look, I've always said that anyone can trade anything, right? So yeah, if you have at it, right? But I just don't I don't see the point in owning Bitcoin, owning Dogecoin other than, oh, look, chart go up. It's not.
So you don't see the point in owning Bitcoin. So you definitely don't see the
No,
point in owning Dogecoin.
No, I said Dogecoin. I meant Dogecoin.
Oh, I was gonna say, damn, son.
No.
Well, we're going to be seeing a lot of Louis moving forward. Louis, great to finally meet you in person. We've been talking, regularly for over 3 years, and we finally get to meet you at an NFL game. Welcome to America. We watch football. We eat and drink too much. I mean, you got a good taste of that.
Yeah, a lot of great Mexican food. You know, that breakfast that we had. I remember I had to tap John Carlo on the shoulder. I was like, "Hey, can you order that for me? How do you pronounce that?"
Chilaquiles.
Dude,
Chilaquiles.
Louis, I've been there. We've all been there. All right.
Surprisingly delicious.
You never had chilaquiles before, Strazza?
I mean, it looks like the messiest,
Yeah.
like non-appetizing thing ever, but the taste is
Yeah, I didn't
it's
know about
great.
chilaquiles until I lived in California also, and like all my Mexican friends are like, "Oh, you got to get the chilaquiles." I was like, "All right, I'll get the chilaquiles."
You kind of feel disgusting eating it. I mean, they are soggy nachos, but they're delicious.
They're soggy, delicious nachos. Right,
Yeah.
that's right. Mexicans, man. Dude, Mexicans never made it to Miami. That's why Mexican food in Miami sucks, and in New York it's even worse. But out there in California, they got Mexicans for days, bro, and they do it right. They don't got Mexicans in New
I
Zealand.
found it
Oh.
hilarious on how much you were trashing the West Coast pizza, and then when I come back from the shooting range with Danny,
There's pizza there.
what do I see? Some pizza.
We were pinched for time that day. We were trying to get a lot done.
Yeah, because I'm like, "Oh, why are we ordering pizza?" And Giancarlo's like, "The New Yorkers, when they're here, they like it." I'm like, "All right." It was fine. It wasn't.
I mean, as a New Zealander, I mean, I was happy.
I've learned never.
I'm not a pizza.
I've
snob
learned
like
never to
you.
order pizza in JC's presence. he just takes it as a personal
No,
offense.
Spencer, if we're in New Jersey, we're getting pizza.
Yeah, damn right we are.
Yeah, there's great pizza by Spencer in New Jersey. New Jersey, like, I mean, way better than Connecticut, right, Strazza?
You don't need
All right. Louis, thanks for the charts, man. I know it's late for you, so we'll let you run, but we'll have you back on again soon, man.
Hey, it was great being on, and you guys have a good
right.
weekend.
Louis.
Adios. We'll get to the news now in just a second before we bring in Kimmy. But quick question. Jerry Carey wants to know, what's the point in owning BTC? The point in owning anything, Mr. Jerry Carey, is ideally to sell it at higher prices than where you buy it, whether it's BTC or MSFT or USO or ABC or XYZ. Who cares?
Oh my God. So there's some really stupid research note headlines out this morning, but can I read my favorite one? This is from Deutsche Bank, because apparently they're still allowed to write research. Overnight, a major milestone was reached. The 10-year U.S. government yields hit their long-term average, with data going back to 1790 of 4.5% for the first time since 2007.
Listen, if your interest rates charts don't go back to before the birth of Christ, I mean, are you even trying?
I mean,
You know? Are you even trying?
Oh, it's good, man.
another one, guys, because
Those are my favorite ones, like the gold chart that goes back to like 2000 BC, you know?
just stop, Deutsche Bank. So how about this one? BTM. Never heard of this ticker, and disclaimer, this is way smaller than the stocks that we should talk about, but it's Crypto Friday. Bitcoin Depot announces share repurchase program. Just pull this chart up quick.
What is Bitcoin Depot?
Wait,
BTM. It must be
BTM.
SPAC. This looks like it was a July SPAC.
M.
How is this company buying back shares, and why?
Wait, BT Mary?
BT.
Well, first of all, this is a penny stock, bro.
No,
Why
I
are we talking about this?
Because it's Crypto Friday, and I thought that was funny.
$28 million. We can't talk about this stuff, man. $28 million. We can't talk about this crap. But yes, I get it. It's a crypto. It's a SPAC scam. You know, shareholders got left holding the bag. Classic, right, Spencer? Tale is the oldest time, right?
I have a bone to pick about IPOs, but I'll save it for recess.
If I had more time on my hands, guys, I would make one of those like funny Twitter accounts and just call it like funny filings and just mock some of these 8K announcements every morning. Every morning there's something just ridiculous buried in these filings. So I don't know.
Why don't you bring in Kimmy, and then I got a hell of a chart of the day.
Tell him, Larry. Larry knows about pizza.
Okay.
How's the
Kimmy,
pizza in Michigan? Is it edible?
yeah, Detroit style is actually a thing. It's good.
I actually
but,
don't hate the Detroit style pizza, to be honest.
Do you
Yeah.
have to go to Detroit to get it?
No, you can order it
No.
on Goldbelly.
Okay.
I have.
Time for Kimmy.
Kimmy, happy Friday.
Oh, yes, happy Friday.
No more Fed this week. You know, nice little Friday. What do you hate trading more, Fridays or Fed days?
Both.
You can't say both. Which one is harder in your opinion?
Which one's harder? Probably the Fed day.
Fed day's harder. All right. So talk to me about yesterday. You had a trend day lower yesterday.
Trend day lower yesterday. I was looking for a little bit extra push, another buck lower or so in the IWMs. Didn't get there. So we'll see. Let's see if they could bounce them a little bit today. Unless they push them just extremely lower. Maybe we get potentially. Let's see if we get a bounce. The SPYs maybe up to 434 to 434.50. Maybe. If the IWMs hold on the 170, I wanted another push lower on the IWMs down to 176.20 or so, but they seem to be hanging on here. They dropped down, I think, to the low at 177 yesterday. So I'm just gonna be watching here, maybe bounce trades, see if anything sticks. I watch Tesla a little bit. I watch DE, anything like that.
So we're going to talk about Deere now in a second. I'm really interested in this trade. But yesterday, 4 for 6, Kimmy, hell of a day. Long United Healthcare, long 3M, shorted Valero, long Facebook, all for profits. 2 losers with Alibaba and Airbnb, but 4 for 6, heck of a day. Walk me through this John Deere. Got slammed yesterday, down 3.6% on the day. What are you seeing?
Now it's dicey, right? So it's like bottom fishing. Bottom fishing could be very scary. So just seeing if we could catch a bounce in it. See if it gets a little momentum up. Listen, I think it was downgraded today. The stock's been trending lower. Just looking for. Otherwise, it could just be another straight down draft. So you got to stick to your stops and be disciplined, and that's it. Today I'm going to see if anything sticks. Otherwise, they're just going to push them lower today. So that's what I'm looking to see.
I mean, on the Deere, you're looking at those lows from a month ago, right?
Right.
So,
So I'm trying to see if it holds it, but this time it might break down and break lower.
And you got a gap from June there too.
Right. So it could go either way, and I might trade it or I might not trade it. I might not get a feel for it, just because I have to see the way something acts, and either I miss the trade or the trade just doesn't even, care.
I know, but Kimmy, I really like how well defined the risk is. If you start to see a bid today, I like that trade. Again, to your point, if you start to see a bid today, right?
If you see a bid, right. And we'll say, sometimes Fridays, they like to keep the market up. We have Yom Kippur's this weekend. To anyone who celebrates, happy fasting. So we're getting towards the tail end of the volatility. Like I said, usually it takes till like mid-October to start to really, really start to get movement in the market higher. But, it could happen at any time. Not saying higher that we go back to the highs of the year, but whereas we get some movement up, So we'll see.
And the big boys are back. There's no more of this, vacation, B squad. The big boys are back. Volume is back. There's action now. It's not like wait till they come back.
Right. So today's option expiration, and
how many witches?
No, there's no witch. I think it's just regular option. I'm not an option person, so
Wait,
goes over my head.
Isn't every day options expiration now?
Yes.
Yeah, but for Friday, is it? But right, but Fridays are obviously.
Yeah, but every day is with a zero.
This is the 4th Friday.
Right.
So this isn't monthly expiration. This is weekly expiration.
Yeah.
Right. Exactly. And last week wasn't it the 3rd Friday last week?
Last week was the 27 witches.
Yeah, the 27 witches.
So many witches. I used to have a crush on Elizabeth Montgomery when I was younger. I loved her. You don't know who
On a
that is?
bad note, my Giants lost last night, right?
What else is new?
What else is new?
Wait, should I know who that? I'm sorry, I don't know who that is.
You don't know who Elizabeth Montgomery is? Come on, chat, chime in. Tell these kids who Elizabeth Montgomery
I don't
is.
even know who she is. Who?
Anybody else have a crush on her? I loved her. I loved her as a kid. Elizabeth Montgomery is Bewitched.
I've never seen
I didn't
Bewitched.
watch that show.
You watch Bewitched?
No, sorry.
I mean, I'm a little young for to watch the reruns.
I used to watch like 90210.
I used to have a crush on a few of those girls also.
All right, guys. Listen, every afternoon and every morning, Kimmy sends out her note of what she's watching today. That's in the morning, and then what she's actually done today, and that's in the afternoon. If you want that note, just shoot us an email. Questions@stockmarketmedia.com. Just make the subject line Kimmy's note or something so we know what you're talking about, and we'll get you on the list for Kimmy's note that goes out twice a day, morning and afternoon. Kimmy is going to her room right now in a live trade. If you're in there, you know what's up. Kimmy, go get him.
Have a good one,
Keep up
guys.
the good work, Kimmy. You're crushing it. Good for you.
All right.
Yes, and then I dream of Jeannie also. I would actually dream of that Jeannie.
That reference I understand.
How old are you?
I used to watch reruns.
Good
Yeah,
lord.
dude. Nick and Knight reruns growing up.
Yeah, Nick and Night reruns.
Oh,
I've watched every I Love Lucy episode. Bewitched, Brady Bunch, all that stuff.
All that stuff. That's right.
Get Smart. I loved Get Smart. I would watch Dragnet. I watched all this crap. Yeah.
All right, Strazza, do you want to do a Strazza spotlight? I do have a bumper for you.
Ooh.
This is ready.
We are releasing the Strazza bumper.
So I haven't seen this, guy.
I haven't either.
Wow.
Let's
So
see it.
the world premiere.
Let's go. Boom, 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 boom.
Okay.
That was pretty good. That was pretty good.
I was wondering when we were going to bust out the footage from San Francisco last year. Good job, guys. All right.
That was pretty good. I like it. I like it. Nice job, guys. Nice job.
Me and Craig Johnson, huh? All right.
Craig Johnson, I didn't see him. He was there. It must have been fast.
Yeah. Yeah, we hang out. So, JC, how can we talk about anything but this decisive breakout from U.S. Treasury yields?
I don't know. Have you been
All
thinking about it all night?
I've been thinking about it a lot. I need a chart of TLT. Maybe somebody can mark that up in the meantime. Let's take it from the top here. Let's see what happened yesterday. Let's start with the 30-year with the one-day true rate of change. So what I'm measuring here is simply the change in basis points in the 30-year. Chart on. Boom.
Chart on.
Biggest move since last summer, and really go all the way back to early 2020. There have only been 2 days, maybe 3, where the 30-year moved more from a basis point perspective. So what is that? It's a short-term momentum thrust, right? See the rate of change spike like that. So it's one of its highest levels in several years. Zoom in. Let's look at the price structure here. Really clean resistance zone. Yields peaked at this exact level across the curve. 5, 10, 30, right? Same picture. We have multiple touches, multiple tests of this resistance level. And we just spiked right through it, gapped right through it yesterday, whether that's the 5, the 10, again, the 30, all gapped right through this level. It's a key level of interest. 10-year got overbought. It's confirmation we're looking for. We want to see the 5 and the 30 get overbought here today. Maybe they do, maybe they don't. And even, I don't think I brought these charts along, but even if you look at developed European yields, you're getting that confirmation. And that's huge because I think global yields have been the best supporting evidence for yields here in the US over the past several years. So we want to see that. We want to see France and Germany and Spain also resolve higher from their similar ranges. And they're starting to. Let's zoom way out. Look at this super zoomed out view of the 30-year. A lot of people are talking about, oh my gosh, bonds grinding steadily higher for 40, 50 years. And now just in a few years, they're giving back almost all of those gains. There's a major trend reversal going on. Maybe a generational trend reversal in the bond market. I don't think we're going to pierce this trend line, resolve higher from this base, getting overbought readings for the first time in 40 years. I don't think it's just going to end here. I think rates go a lot higher than most people are expecting.
So what's the trade?
Short TLT. That's why I asked for a TLT chart.
Throw slide one there.
You got a really clean level in TLT. I think you can measure this move out. I think it's like 16 points. If you measure out this little consolidation here, and where that will measure you down to is new all-time lows in TLT. This fund's been around for like 23 years. I think that's where it's going.
So this would be, the inception date of TLT goes back to what? Goes back to 2002?
Is the TLT trade crowded? I don't know about that. I don't know.
Is the TLT short crowded? It depends on who you ask. The other thing I'm going to say is, what if you're not a bond trader, which I don't know if you heard, most people are not. How do you approach this? Like, what if you're an equities trader? What's the trade?
Like, it's trickier. There isn't an obvious one.
It's not energy.
If there had to be one, sure, it would be energy, but for multiple reasons, right? It's not just, blindly buy energy because rates are going higher. Energy's been leading. So that's the trade for, I think, other more important reasons. The fact that interest rates are rising in that environment where energy stocks are where you want to be makes sense, right? That's more like convenient than something that I'm like, putting my hat on. I think if you want to make money off of this trade and this move, higher interest rates, you short bonds. That's it. You're not comfortable shorting bonds. I don't think there's a clean, obvious trade in the equity market.
And what about the 60-40 portfolio there, Mr. Strazza?
Well, let me say first, before I talk about that, I think financials are a dangerous group right now. I think higher interest rates maybe impacts tech a lot less than people think it will. We've already seen that, right? Rates have been rising. Tech has been working. I think that can continue. Maybe there are some stronger, more secular tailwinds going on for tech and growth stocks. But financials, I think, will be particularly vulnerable if these are valid breakouts for U.S. 60-40, I don't really care. That's not how
Right. That's not your problem, right?
No.
People who bought into that, financial advisors who use that as a crutch, they're hurting their customers, right? Their customers who buy that garbage, they're hurting themselves, right?
I hope that maybe this cycle does away with the 60-40.
Yeah.
Probably not. But Steve, would you differentiate?
You know the percentage of commodities in a 60-40 portfolio?
Steve,
I bet they got ESG stocks in there though.
Would you?
Morons. People who are terrible at math.
Would you differentiate the type of tech, right? So like big tech versus like super end of the growth spectrum speculative tech, right?
There was a really interesting article in the Wall Street Journal yesterday that was suggesting that higher interest rates are great for these mega cap tech stocks.
They're great for people with money. They're great for the wealthy. They're great for companies that have cash, right?
Because these companies, like you're saying, JC, they're mammoth and they're net lenders.
So then what's the story? Poor people lose again?
Well, it's the startups, the companies that want to IPO and need capital. They're screwed.
Yeah, money's expensive.
Google is
okay. So let's just get this straight. So who's winning? Wealthy, high net worth investors, companies that are cash heavy, and then who's losing? Startups that are cash strapped and invest, and people who just don't have a lot of money.
Way more broadly, who's winning? People with cash. Who's losing? People without cash.
People who need cash.
Yeah, that's it.
Right. Fair.
And banks are a special case, right? Because Google doesn't care about the spread. They're going to just make their 5%. Banks care about the spread. So they have a lot of cash, but it's just not working for them based on the current interest rate structure.
Yep. All right. I hope you guys enjoyed that Strazza Spotlight. I know I did. Oh, wait, Strazza, before we go, we did have a question. Did you want to talk about the dividend thing? Or
Yeah, stock market Mike says capital is king. I grew up in an environment in Big Four accounting on Wall Street where my partner was saying to us on almost a daily basis, cash is king, cash is king, follow the cash, follow the cash. And no, you're absolutely right. I hear that phrase in my head all the time. Cash is king.
Okay, so there was a question that we got for CRL yesterday that Steve wanted to address today. I'll just read the question for you, Steve. It's a follow-up from our conversation we had on yesterday's morning show about dividends. Strazza was talking about higher yield equities not performing as well, but SCHD, this is the Schwab Dividend ETF, has performed very well, and when you include reinvesting, the yield, it's performed even better. However, an ETF like DGRO includes lower yield equities. Anyway, the question is, what do you think the best dividend ETF is, or which one will be the best performing? Are they like are these should these be thought about as like long term holdings?
Funny you should ask. We haven't built it yet.
Right. So I would have to. My honest answer would be none of them. Right? Because if these ETFs can't provide you alpha above just the basic indexes like the S&P 500, then there's no reason to be in them. Right? So if we look at the total return performance over almost any time frame, they do not outperform at all. This is going back to the financial crisis. We could show this more zoomed in. I think we included one that goes back to just like the COVID lows, but over any cycle, over any time frame, the S&P pretty much is going to outperform all of these things, right? SCHD, I guess, looks better than the rest. It's been closer. But some of these, like HDV, I think is the most popular one. Terrible. Terrible. You're getting half the performance of the S&P 500. You can't be in them. What you want to do if you want to be in dividend stocks is go pick your own, right? And use your own dividend investing strategy. Again, like we talked about on here, I genuinely think that dividend investing on Wall Street is flawed and done so wrong. So do it yourself, right? Pick your own dividend stocks, and that's the best dividend fund you can.
When are we launching the dividend ETF?
See, this Kinsale got upgraded today. I mean, this stock just doesn't go down. Love this thing. Talked about it yesterday. Kinsale Capital, KNSF.
I agree with everything that Strazza just said. And I think the thing that people miss about dividends is dividends. It's not free money; it's your money being returned back to you. There's a form, right?
Yeah, and there's all double taxation issues. If you want to get real like technical and annoying about it, like from an accounting standpoint, it's actually a very inefficient use of capital to pay out.
And then you have these like communist politicians like Elizabeth Warren talking about how like buybacks are so bad. They're way better for shareholders.
Dude, they don't. Some people just don't like it when wealthy people get wealthier. That's the only thing that's going on there. But buybacks are great.
Is that what she's upset about? She doesn't like wealthy people getting wealthier? What's her problem?
Isn't that everything she complains about?
I'm not really sure, but I know she complains about that one.
Wait, so just to put a bow on that one, like you said, SCHD has actually outperformed a lot of its peers, the other dividend ETFs over the last decade. So that's cool, I suppose. I guess if you're retired, if you're 70 or 80 and you want some income, all right, whatever, I can see that. But yeah, you want the chart to go up, right? You want to outperform, or at least equal the performance of the major indexes and get paid on top of that. So
listen, the best way to do it is to read Young Aristocrats and follow those stocks. I mean, this scan, I can't say enough good things about it. We only do it once a month. This scan got us into NVIDIA back in 2020. I mean, like there are growth stocks that we are finding that are experiencing just insane price appreciation in our dividend world. And that's not the case for most of these dividend strategies. They will filter those right out. That's the wrong thing to do.
All right.
Can we talk about the hot corner? Because we got some big moves being made here.
Yes.
Hello.
Before we do the hot corner, just real quick market update. A lot of green on my screen, everyone. Everything but the Dow's flat. Dow's flat. What else do I got?
The one that matters.
Yeah. Okay, you got Utes and what's that? Healthcare. All right. Everything else looking okay. Yeah, mostly green. A lot of green today. Anyway, Just thought I'd point that out. Okay. Hot corner. Should
Do it.
we? I have not looked at.
Report. I'm really excited for chart report, but sure, let's do hot corner.
We can do them both back to back. How about that? And then we'll have
Do
Ian
it.
Culley hop on.
All right, let's go.
And, all right.
So hot right now.
All right. Well, first of all, can we just talk about how Mr. Jack D. Hightower, chairman and CEO of High Peak Energy, how much did he buy? $8.4 million worth of stock. Mr. Strazza, do you think he did that because he thinks the stock goes down?
No, it's a sizable purchase. You're absolutely right. I just, this one doesn't look like some of the other ones. This energy stock, HBK.
Throw up slide 1 there. I know it looks weaker than the others, huh? It's an EMP name.
Yeah. It's tough, right? Because we know what the leaders in this space look like. This ain't one of them. But
Well, a lot of them got going over the last couple of years, right? And this one really only got going in the fourth quarter last year.
Yep.
So it's interesting what could be happening here. He makes $3 million a year in salary. This dude, that's not bad. It's pretty good. Elizabeth Warren might not like that.
fourth quarter last year, it just bottomed out here in July. This thing.
Oh yeah, sorry. Yeah, that's what I meant. Yeah, it just bottomed out. Kept going lower with all the other energy stocks going up. So there's something fishy going on here. But Mr. Hightower dropping $8 million on this. Saying.
Yeah. Bottomed when the market peaked. Interesting.
How about the regional bank? Another one. Here's Eli Samaha. Eli Samaha. How do we feel about this Eli here?
Synovus?
Yeah.
Listen, ballsy move buying a regional bank right now.
Haven't we been seeing a ton of that though?
Yeah, a good amount. Yeah.
Haven't we been seeing a ton of insider buying in regional banks like for months now? This isn't anything new.
Yeah, but there are more regional banks than almost any other subgroup. There are so many of these things, and they've been hit more than any other stocks. And those are the stocks that insiders tend to buy, are the ones that are down the most.
So this guy's a value investor. So he's an insider. He probably owns a bunch already, and he's adding to his position. That's what this is, by the way. He's not a.
Well, thanks. I knew he wasn't a technician.
Thanks, guy. No, but he's not like he's an insider, but he's not a chairman or CEO or anything like that.
Yeah. So listen, we had some sizable purchases today. Maybe some of these charts start to look up.
And what about this other one, REPX? What's the market cap on this? Are we allowed to talk about this?
Yeah. Or
little.
Yeah.
It's a $600 million market cap, so it's tiny. But this guy bought how much? $3 million.
Here's what I don't like. I don't like it when they put Permian in their name. That's like a sexy thing that these oil and gas companies do. It's like putting blockchain in your name. It is. It is.
I believe Permian. There's a basin there.
There is.
Permian is to what oil energy? What blockchain is to crypto?
It's where everybody wants to be. Everybody wants to have a property there, right?
And where is this basin? Where is the Permian Basin?
In the United States.
Is it?
I used to know this. I definitely don't know anymore. Let's look it up.
Louis was blown away by I guess their oil wells that they have down there by Huntington Beach, right, JC?
They're they're like west of Long Beach, and they have them up near Santa Barbara too.
West Texas.
We were walking to downtown Huntington Beach. We walked by a bunch of them, and they're going. They're like,
oh, sorry, yes, like on the. I'm sorry, I thought you meant like out in the water. They got them out in the water.
No, the onshore ones.
Yeah, yeah, they got a whole bunch.
Yeah,
they got a whole bunch there.
Who knew?
They don't have that in New Zealand,
dude. They don't have that in Florida. I've never seen that.
Dude, drive through. Have you ever driven through? You've never been to Texas, right? Didn't you tell me that?
You sent me to Texas. It was like the weirdest trip of my life.
That's another story for another day. But yes, you drive through Texas, and then you got them all over the place. Like I've done the Houston, Austin, Dallas trifecta. You will too one day.
What's the best one? I've been to Houston and Austin. I've never been to Dallas or San Antonio.
I really like Houston because I get taken care of there. I get taken care of very nicely. I get very good food, very good wine, and like I'm friends with like some winos down there, and they're just flexing. There's all trying to one up each other. You know, this 50-year-old Chardonnay and this other Burgundy. Like they're Burgundy snobs and champagne snobs that are always one upping each other. And I just show up and I just drink what they give me, and it's fantastic.
JC goes to Houston.
Personally, Houston.
You go to Houston, hang out with some oil and gas industry titans.
Yeah.
Fancy wine.
Yeah, these guys are like futures traders, like energy futures traders. Yeah.
All right, good.
All right. Should we do a chart report, Mr. Strazza? I have a feeling
I'm so excited. Did you guys see this? Really good chart report.
The chart.
I doubt
of
it.
the day
I don't think it was.
Chart of the day was interesting. Let's see it.
That was some chart of the day.
Well,
Oh, hey now.
look at Strazza. Chart of the day for Mr. Strazza. Well done, my friend. Well done.
No, but seriously, I mean, this is a big move, JC. If this sticks, we've been saying, hey, interest rates are sideways. That's great for risk assets for over a year now. Can't say that anymore, right?
Not to be a hater, but I like Ian McMillan's chart better.
Of course you do. Of course you do.
Why? I like it better.
All right, let's talk about
How do you not like it better?
Let's see it.
Go down to Ian McMillan's chart.
I'm scrolling. Give me a second. I'm gonna keep going a while.
Brett.
How far down is this chart? There it is.
Yeah, no. Nope.
No, yours is better than this one?
Yeah.
I don't know. I think this tells an interesting story, right? You got the yields up, you got the bonds down. I'm not trying to be a hater. I'm just saying.
Did you know you didn't know treasury bonds were the inverse of the yield?
Some people don't know.
You didn't. Oh, okay. Got it. You learned
I knew. You know, I knew. By the way, a lot of bond charts on the chart report. You know, signs of the times.
A lot of diagonal trend lines on the Twitter yesterday. Gosh.
Yeah, people love their diagonal trend lines. I'm more of a horizontal guy myself.
A lot of diagonal trend lines. Can we talk about them? Listen, the trend line break, you can't have a trend reversal without it. A trend line break, right? But just because you get a trend line break doesn't mean you're getting a trend reversal. The same people who drew those scary charts breaking trend yesterday will redraw those trend lines in a few weeks. Higher low could still be made, right?
What trends are changing out of curiosity?
You could draw some spooky trend line breaks on the NASDAQ or some of the sector indexes right now from the lows last year.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
Maybe it's
but what do they actually mean is really what you're pointing out, right?
Maybe it's something, maybe it's nothing. You can't get a trend reversal without a trend line break, right? But a trend line break doesn't necessarily mean you're getting a trend reversal.
Can we talk about the strength in silver over the last couple of days with this confirmed breakout in rates that Strazza keeps pounding the table about? What's up with that?
Can I be honest?
Yes.
I don't even look at precious metals charts anymore.
Yeah, you and everybody else, bro.
I don't even think about gold. I don't even know what it is anymore.
Speaking of signs of the time, I mean, is anybody else paying attention to this? Exactly what Strazza is saying. You are literally representing the investing community.
Boring. My God.
Right.
Waiting 13 years for this thing.
I doubt it, but
no, you're right.
Come on, can we anything there? Rates ripping higher and silver? Hello? What in God's name is going on in the precious metal space? Mr. Israel, why don't you tell the folks where they could find the chart report, and then let's bring on our old pal Ian Culley to discuss the interesting strength that we're seeing in precious metals.
This China news is such a nothing burger, guys. These stocks already they're like back to where they were yesterday and fading already.
Let me see. No, that's not true.
Yeah,
Well-
I see the FXI up 3.7%. I see KOEB up 3.7%.
Okay, whatever.
I see-
And chart report,
Relax.
guys. The link is in the description. It is a compilation of the best charts every day on Twitter. So we all know that none of us can spend all day on Twitter. Luckily, you don't have to. Patrick does it for you, for us, I should say, for everyone. So check it out. The link is in the description. All right, Ian Culley's here. We're talking commodities. Let's bring Ian Culley on.
Happy Friday, guys.
Happy Friday, my friend. Happy Friday, my friend. Should Bitcoin be added to the commodities index, Ian?
I mean, we could. I'm not ready. I'm not ready to add it to the commodities index.
Do you think one day you will, or is this a never?
I never like to say never. But we'll see.
If you had to guess, is it a maybe one day or a probably never?
Probably never.
Guys, it's never going to happen because there are characteristics that all commodities have that Bitcoin doesn't, right? They're all physical and hold value.
Tell that to Gold Bugs. Can you throw slide 1 there? Ian Culley,
Yes.
Mr. FIC, Mr. Fixed Income, Commodities, Currencies, interest rates ripping, dollar strong. What if I would have told you that silver ripped in that environment?
It's so funny. I was just writing the intro to today's commodity post, and it's about silver. And there's so much going on right now. Bonds are rolling over, interest rates are rising, commodities are doing well, stock market indexes are chopping sideways. All of this makes sense. It's when markets don't behave the way you expect them to. That's where the key information, that's
baby,
a really big deal.
Preach.
And that's the thing. You look at silver, of all the precious metals, if there's one that should be selling off as the dollar is making its way to potentially 10 up weeks in a row, US 10-year yield just hit a 16-year high, and silver's holding its trend line, not selling off at all. Like I would never have guessed.
Outperforming gold.
Starting to outperform gold. That's another important.
Throw up the dollar streak chart for Ian to speak to.
That's a good one.
It is. You brought this to my attention, Steve.
I do some things sometimes.
Yeah, this is and this was even a month ago when it was 6 weeks up in a row.
Yeah, we were on top of it early, dude. Today's going to mark 10 weeks.
Yeah. So
it's the second.
Spencer, throw slide 9 up.
So the dollar index was created in 1973. So we got a good 50 years of price history.
Dolphins won the Super Bowl that year. That was actually the last time the Dolphins won the Super Bowl.
Only one streak, one win streak, weekly win streak, bigger than the current one. And hey, look at that uptrend that it happened in the middle of. So I don't know. Dollar Bulls got to like this one though, right, Ian?
Absolutely. And what's really interesting is that these momentum thrusts, highlighted by these consecutive up weeks, tend to come in pairs. You kind of have that initial and secondary thrust. And from the looks at it, this is the first of potentially 2 thrusts. So
we're going back
to have a rally on our hands.
We're going back to the highs.
Any thoughts on the strength that we're seeing out of emerging market currencies? You figured these emerging market currencies would be getting slaughtered. Strength might be a strong word, but relative strength to some developed markets, let's just say.
Relative strength.
It's really interesting. Over the past couple years, we've seen emerging market currencies and commodity-centric or commodity-related currencies hold up better versus the dollar than, say, the euro or the pound or the dollar index components. So it makes sense, given that the environment really hasn't changed over the past couple of years. We're still in a rising rate environment. We're still in what I believe is the early innings of a commodity super cycle. So, not too much to gain from that, but definitely something I want to keep my eye on.
What's going on with metals? Are metals ever going to get it together?
Which
That's
metals?
That's a great question. I mean, is it a China story? I don't know.
What metals? Base?
Yes.
The ones that matter. God.
John Rogue made a good point earlier this week talking about how he's never seen like a super cycle or bull market in commodities without copper.
Right. Yeah, I think copper back above $4 is extremely important. For now, though, it's all energy. It's all energy. Whether we're talking about uranium, or we're talking about oil and gas.
What about the Mexican peso?
What's that?
What about the Mexican peso? Hanging in okay?
It is, and that's another interesting. So when we look at emerging market currencies, the strength is really coming out of Latin America currencies. We're seeing the strength in the peso and the Brazilian real, whereas most of the Asian currencies, the Vietnamese dong, Korean won, and some others are definitely Thai baht are struggling. It's interesting. So we like Latin America. We like Mexican equities, and I think that remains the case.
Okay, Mexican peso has been strong for this one hole. Vietnam dong and Mexican pesos are feasting off of China's drop. Companies are pulling out of China. Yes, the latter part is very true, and it's been true for a long time already. But the Vietnam dong has been incredibly weak. It continues.
Yes.
So not seeing that price action at all.
By the way, so many shout outs to Mexico this episode, right?
Yeah.
Mexicans, man. Chilaquiles, tacos, Mexican peso.
Mexican airport stocks.
I mean, shout out Mexico. I think we need to have an all-star charts field trip to Mexico City. I've never been. I'm dying to go. Everybody tells me how great Mexico City is. My mom goes there all the time for work. Like, I have a lot of friends who have visited there. I hear great things.
Yeah, I would love to go.
It's a very international city, a lot of great food. I would really like to go to Mexico City. So that, and it's up on top of the mountain there. It's supposed to be dope. So I'm really looking forward to going to that. I want to stick with the commodities theme, but this is a little more recess oriented. I got a good one, Spencer, if you want to hit it. So here's one that we never talk about. If you want to throw up slide one, you ready for this one, Ian? You ready for this one? Throw up slide one. So, speaking of, I don't know if this is
Diamonds,
just absolutely getting crushed. Israel, our resident Jewish correspondent. Any thoughts here on the diamond market?
Dude, that was all right. Sure, I guess I'm supposed to know about diamonds.
Am I wrong?
That's such like I don't know if many people understand that reference, but anyway, no, I like this.
If you need to buy a diamond for your wife, find, ask some of your Jewish friends. They know, they got an uncle, they know somebody.
I actually don't have anybody in my family.
That's because you have Spanish heritage. That's why.
No point. Okay, what I want to say about this chart is definitely sign of the times. Like 2 years ago, I was seeing a lot of like remember alts. Remember how big alts were, and invest in diamonds, invest in cars, invest in NFTs or.
It's still huge, Spencer. We were talking about this yesterday, Jason.
Invest in wine, invest in art, right? Like all these alts, and diamonds was one of them. And they were like, diamonds are outperforming the S&P. And I was like, yeah, all right.
Dude, they lost a third of their value over the last year. What's up with that?
Give me a break.
Yeah. Any thoughts? I mean, I thought this was an interesting chart.
I'd like to see some more history, more price history here.
My sister's like one of these certified diamond people. Who she's like a sommelier of diamonds.
Okay.
And I don't know if you guys knew that. She worked at Cartier forever. She had to go to Switzerland and learn about how watches are made and all this shit.
That's cool.
So she knows about this stuff. I sent it to her this morning. I'm like, what's up with this? And she gives me one of these. I don't know.
All right. So rare earth metals.
Is this
Yeah.
this is not a rare earth metal? No.
Rare earth metal,
Diamond.
terrible.
Rare.
Wait. I might know the guy. I'm not sure where you got that chart from. If it was Diamond Standard or not.
No, this is from the IDEX.
Okay. I know a guy that runs a diamond investing platform. Maybe if you want to
I
talk to
can't
him.
believe it.
No, not. I know him through work, you idiot. I don't know.
It's my second cousin on my father's side.
All right.
I've invested in one of these alternative wine and spirits things. I don't know if I'll ever
How'd
see
that work out for you?
I don't know if I'll ever see that money back. We'll find out. It's been a year now. We'll see.
Yeah. Steve, I almost got sucked in with you to one of these things. I didn't, but I almost did.
It was a bear market. This was October of last year. I didn't want to buy anything. You know, got cash on the sidelines. I said, let's do it. Let's buy some whiskey.
So hold on. So Mark and Stephen Green here are chiming in, and this is where my head was at. For somebody who knows nothing about diamonds, I don't know, Mark and Stephen, I don't know if you guys claim to know anything about diamonds, but I definitely don't. This is where my head was at. Exactly what you guys were just saying. The lab manufactured.
But stop. This is new to
Stuff.
me. See,
What do you think?
you grow diamonds?
Oh,
Bro, this is not any time. They're not growing like plants. They're like manufactured in a lab and stuff like that.
You grow them though?
You don't grow them, like you manufacture them. Is more of a right. You're not growing,
Yeah.
right, Mark?
and they go for a
Strazza.
fraction of the price of a
Of
natural
course, because
diamond.
it's not a real diamond. It's a fugazi.
But
How
you,
did you know that this was a fugazi? It's a fugazi.
Never heard of this.
Yeah.
Nope. All right. All right. So any
That was my recess. I just thought it was interesting. Diamond prices getting slaughtered.
Yeah.
And by the way, how many of your wives or girlfriends or fiancés will look at a diamond and be able to be like, oh, this is a fugazi? Probably less than 0.1%.
my wife's actually a bench jeweler, and the last ring that she made for her cousin's fiance was a lab grown diamond.
really? This is a
She's
thing.
not crazy about them. She doesn't like the lab grown diamonds, but
My recess is like a little bone to pick with SoFi here, the company, not the stock. I got an email last night from SoFi. The subject was the Instacart and ARM IPOs were a blast. Keep an eye out for the next big opportunity. And then it goes on to talk about their IPO program. Congrats to both companies on successful IPOs and to our members who got in on the action. We were thrilled to offer blah, 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 blah. Check in for more new opportunities. Anyway, this is the thing that they do. They provide IPO access to some of their customers.
Hold on. So let me understand this. They're victory lapping getting customers access to an IPO.
Let me tell you something. Dear customers, if you get access to these IPOs, it's because nobody else wants them. And you are the bag holder.
Yeah. Also, both ARM and Instacart are literally right now right back to their IPO price. And I looked into doing this because I was curious just how the process works. SoFi, they don't lock you in, but they strongly discourage you from selling within 30 days. Basically, if you do it, they'll lock you out from future IPOs. So don't do it.
Yes, because the underwriters will lock SoFi out because they're dumpers.
Exactly. So anyway, I thought that was a stupid email. So
guys, a college buddy.
I know, Spencer, but you know better. Most people don't know any better.
That's what I'm angry about.
Listen, guys, a college buddy of mine works at this Klaviyo. He was just at the New York Stock Exchange this week. Saw on Instagram, reached out to him. They just IPO'd. Maybe we have him on. Time to kind of talk about the IPO market.
What's Klaviyo? Remind me.
KVYO. They just went public. Software stock.
Oh, yeah. I actually didn't know that's how you pronounce it, but all right.
What kind of software?
I'm guessing. Klaviyo. I don't know. Maybe we'll have him on and talk about it. Just talk about the state of the IPO market.
They're from Boston, Massachusetts. I'm going to Boston next week.
Yeah, he's a Boston guy.
All right. That'll be a wrap for the show today. We have What the Fick at 11:30. The plan is to have Tracy Shuchart on the show today. She's our mystery. I just spoiled it, but it's already on the thumbnail. At Shy Girl on Twitter. If you follow Commodities, you definitely need to follow her. She'll be our guest. That'll be exciting. That's at 11:30 a.m. Eastern Time. That'll be our last show of the week. As a reminder, next week, normal week, with the exception of Chart Summit. Special virtual event happening Tuesday and Wednesday. The link is at the top of the description on YouTube. I'll put it in the chat again one more time. I put it in there before, but I'll put it back in chartsummit.com. Very basic URL. It's free. You just have to register. If you want, I can tell you the list of people that are going to be there. It's every day it expands. Like I keep trying to tell JC to stop expanding the list.
Sorry, we have too many smart friends, Spencer. I'll try to find some dumber ones for you.
In no particular order, JC, Strazza, Ian will obviously all be there. Brian Shannon, Willie Delwich, Andrew Thrasher, Ari Wald, Frank Capillari, Jeff Hirsch. Let's see who: Kenny Glick, James Bartoloni, Joe Fahmy, Rob Koifman, Ryan Dietrich,
Willie Delwich.
Yeah, well, I think I said Willie Delwich. So anyway, the event is stacked Tuesday afternoon and then all day Wednesday. So check it out, chartsummit.com. Link in chat, link in description. And that'll be it for our show today. Thanks to our guests, Louie, Kimmy, and Ian. Thanks to all of you for watching. If you are watching us on YouTube and you want to, hit that thumbs up, we'd appreciate that. If you're watching us on stockmarketmedia.com, thank you. You're awesome. We love you. And that's all I got. Anyone have any final thoughts?
That's it, baby. Have a good weekend, everybody. Go Finnos. Let's go. 3-0.
Happy Friday.
Run it. I can't take no loss. I don't even know what it costs. I hit the ground.